Hello and welcome to Culture Shark, a live stream about all things pop culture. I'm Final Monkey,
And I'm Caleb.
and today we are talking about a movie that nobody has seen, hardly anybody. Look, have fun, don't die. And afterwards, we will also be discussing the Warner Brothers purchase, little bonus conversation at the end.
hmm
Uh, so let's talk about Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. Uh, the way we always do this is we will do a non-spoiler chat at first, and then we'll talk about spoilers. So this movie is a little hard to talk about without getting into the spoilers. So I think the safest thing is just to say what was in the trailer. Um,
well, and here's the funny thing. I never saw the trailer.
yeah, and the trailer is basically the opening scene of the movie where our time traveler shows up in a restaurant and announces that the world is going to end, and he and a select group of people from this restaurant are going to stop it. And this is his 117th try or something like that.
27th, 127th.
127th try to stop it. And each time he tries a different combination of people. So it's kind of like Terminator mixed with Groundhog Day scenario we got going on here.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely. And there's some other things as well that uh, there's a lot of vibes in this movie.
yeah, yeah. So that is our just non-spoilery summary, and he says that it's the cell phones and technology that's going to be the destruction of the world. Um, so this movie is a lot of fun. If you like,
Mhm.
I think if you like Black Mirror, you will like this movie.
Yeah.
If you like, just time travel and science fiction in general, and one of the things that people are always crying out for is no more sequels. We want original content. Well, here it is. Here's original content. Support this movie. It is a lot of fun and one of the best movies I've seen in a while. I'll say that. Um, and then I was also going to say that the movie also does flashbacks, kind of like how Lost would do, where you get like the backstories of different characters. So you learn to care about the characters as the movie goes on.
hmm Yeah. And it's I definitely agree with everything you said. It's definitely a lot of fun. Um, and it's for me, it's almost like if this is going to be a movie where like a family of four is just kind of cruising through Netflix trying to decide what to watch, and they've never heard of this before, and then they're gonna watch this. It's kind of like that. There's like the it kind of reminds me of like Cooties or The Dead Don't Die. Very much that kind of vibe.
Yeah, this movie will find an audience. It's not finding it right now, but I think once it lands on streaming, it will definitely find an audience. So I give this movie high praise. It's probably a 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah,
Um,
9 out of 10 for me, absolutely.
so let's get into spoilers because I think that's where the fun of this movie
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Um, so spoilers, go see the movie. You haven't seen it. It's awesome. Uh, so our main actor doesn't have a name in the movie. Is Sam? What's his last name?
The Rockwell.
Rockwell. Um, he is our main character. They don't give him a name throughout the movie. And you kind of don't know if he's crazy or not at first because he looks like a homeless person.
Yeah,
And
but he
and it's
says that
fun.
this is the highest fashion from his time.
Yeah. And it's funny because he shares all this information at the beginning about everybody in the restaurant. He talks about this one girl that he always picks that there's always this sexual tension between them, but she always breaks his heart, betrays him. But then that never comes up again the rest of the movie. So there's some funny moments like that. Um, but yeah, so he picks his group, and the mission is they're trying to stop a artificial intelligence that once it goes online, it is going to get to a point where people are so addicted to their phones and virtual reality and whatnot that society is basically just going to shut down, and it'll be the death of everything.
Yeah, people won't even notice that the world has ended.
Yeah, yeah. And what was really funny about this movie is when I saw it in the theater is as soon as the movie was over, after 2 hours of phones are evil, everybody in the theater whipped out their phones as soon as the movie was over. And I was just like, "You're not listening."
Oh, it was kind of weird for us. Because so we saw this because we went down to Gulf Shores. My parents went down to Gulf Shores for a month to just kind of snowbird, live down there, and so Cameron and I uh, went down there to visit on their last week, and so we decided to go see it just kind of on a whim on
Mhm.
like a Tuesday. So we were actually the only ones in the theater.
Yeah,
um,
I went opening weekend, so there was a little bit of a crowd, but this
mhm,
movie has not done great at the box office, unfortunately.
mhm.
But also, it did
Uh,
not have a huge budget. You still there?
yeah, I think I lost you for a second. Um,
Okay.
anyway, what I was getting at is for us, we all felt weird getting on our phones for like 2 hours after the movie
Yes.
was over.
Yeah, I mean, the movie has a very, you know, I think it's a good message that, the phones are sucking away our life and our time and everything. And the movie, they start having flashbacks where you see where the different characters are coming from. And the one girl, Ingrid, her boyfriend uh gets addicted to virtual reality, and he's like, that world is better than our own world, and he doesn't want to come out of the virtual reality. He's going to leave the love of his life and everything for it. And I mean, it's kind of scary that we are seeing things like that
Yeah.
in real life. We're not too far from that. um
Um,
this
so
movie
do you,
also uh tackles some dark subjects, some social commentary on school shootings,
yeah.
and actually makes them comedic, which is hard to do. There's nothing graphic about the school shootings that are shown, but it's just the
The
how everybody.
desensitization.
Yes, yes. Um, how it happens so often that no one cares anymore, and it gets to a point where there's an ongoing question in this movie whether this is all really happening or this is some type of simulation. It's not like the movie doesn't come out and ask that, but there's clues everywhere that something's not quite right.
Hmm.
And one of the things in the film is when the kids die in school shootings, that the government is basically cloning them and bringing them back, and you get to create a new child after they are slain in the shooting,
But
and you get to pick out their personalities.
you
Yeah,
can't be
go
too
ahead.
specific about the personality.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just general personalities, and the catch is that they will have to say an ad once a day,
Yeah,
or every hour or something. I can't remember what it was, but
which is
uh,
totally Black Mirror. So Black Mirror season 6.
uh-huh.
There's an episode with Rashida Jones that, I mean, that is just that, where like she's kind of on her deathbed, and so in order to keep living, um, she has this kind of like cloud subscription service. It gets too
Hmm.
expensive, so she has to go with the uh, core model instead of the premium, where she loses her job because she's saying ads to her kids. She's a teacher. She loses her teaching job because she's saying ads to her kids every 5 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a part early in the movie where they said that the kids they're not just passing notes to each other in class; they're passing ads to each other in
Yeah.
class.
Yeah, which is so funny because it's one of those things where like I didn't quite catch it at first, but whenever because you know the whole schools thing that happened first, and then the second flashback was about the clones, and so whenever they first talked about like passing ads back and forth, it didn't register to me.
Hmm.
uh, and then whenever they brought up the fact that like ads, I'm like, oh, that's what they were talking about.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, and the it gets even crazier because they're like the one couple's like, yeah, our kids died in so many school shootings, so we just have fun with it now. We made her tall, and we're like, oh, look at that goofy. Oh, here she comes. She's such a goofball and all this, and it's just really dark how they.
Yeah.
It's a dark humor where just how little life matters, and it what is happening to our society. It's crazy.
So I'd say the best way to go about this from here on
Hmm.
would be to talk about the characters in which they are recruited and they're well not in which they're recruited because I believe Juno Temple is recruited first.
Hmm.
But I say we could start with Zazie Beats and Michael Pena because their flashback is first.
Yeah, so he's a new, I think he's a substitute teacher,
Yep.
and he's kind of he's very nervous. He doesn't know what to do. It's the first day, and he doesn't know how to interact with the kids. And once he starts interacting with them, they're all on their phones. I can't remember what story they're going to read, but they immediately look it up
Oh
on their
yeah.
phone. They immediately have it it was like Anna Karenina or something. I can't remember what it was, but they immediately had an opinion about it. They already, they're like, "Oh, this sucks," blah blah blah.
Is
They
there a
already
movie
pulled it all
about
up
it?
on their phone.
No.
Yeah. Oh, they did. It was black and white. Oh, it sucks. Oh, we don't care. And they're basically ignoring him, and their screens are telling them how to think about everything. They're. So eventually, he looks at a screen and starts to get hypnotized at it himself, and he touches the screen, and that makes all the students freak out and start um, following him.
Yeah.
And
And
we
this
also, yeah, go ahead.
this part where they almost kind of become zombies at this point.
Hmm.
This is where I was kind of like, oh, this really reminds me of Cooties. Now let me ask you, I think I told you it kind of gave me Cooties vibes. Have you ever seen Cooties?
Yeah, I saw it the other day. That's the one with Elijah Wood where the
Yeah.
chicken nuggets are making the kids into zombies. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. I could see that vibe for this part here, or at least their story, and then maybe later in the film. Um,
Hmm.
I agree uh, with Tempting Frog here about I was getting everything everywhere all at once vibes from this movie. So that's what it was remind me a lot of. So
Kind of. I
um,
could see that. I think I think the difference between that is you and I have very different interpretations on that movie in general because I think
mhm,
that whole movie's a metaphor and you think it's
no,
all literal.
yes, it is definitely
So
literal. But that's not what we're going to talk about today, though, because we'll be arguing all day. So uh, yeah. Um, so yeah, the other thing that we find out is one of the teachers is making a Mars attack type gun that will disable phones. Uh, and so they stumble across those weapons, and they are able to use them to temporarily disarm the teenagers. So that'll come up later. The next flashback is Susan. She is the one where her son is killed in a school shooting,
yes, this is
and
Juno Temple.
yeah, this is where we find out about the cloning, and the kids have barcodes on the back of their necks, and she's going to these parties now where it's kind of like support groups for other uh, parents who have gone through this, and it's all becoming like a joke. No one's sad their kids are gone anymore. Now it's like, oh yeah, this is like our fourth school shooting, no big deal, haha. And it just feels wrong to her. And this is the thing about this movie is it does not answer all your questions. There are a lot of questions I have about this movie, and I like it because then you get to theorize about what is going on, because the movie just does not explain it.
Yeah. For me, for me, the funny thing is, it's just the one question, because I think I can take everything else at face value if my one question is answered. Hello? Uh-oh. Did I lose you again? Hello?
Are you still there, Caleb?
Yeah, I am. I was just talking
Okay.
about, yeah. I'm not sure on whose end.
It's probably mine. The internet is not great where I'm staying right now. So, what
Yeah.
was your question about the voice on the
Oh,
phone?
oh no. So I don't have a question about the voice on the phone. I think that's probably where um, where we disconnected, because you were talking about how you had a lot of questions. I really just have the one question, because honestly, I think, and there might be some things that I'm missing, but I think I can take everything else at face value, if the one question is answered. Uh, which
Hmm.
the one question being, is this all a simulation? um, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's part of me that doesn't want it to be a simulation. I don't want it to be a simulation, but there's a lot of clues that it is a simulation. Right at the beginning when he doesn't want to take Ingrid and the bottle falls and points at Ingrid, is that the simulation saying you need to take her? Does the AI want to, he's sick of this guy trying to mess.
I think I lost you again.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I think I lost you again.
Apparently.
Hello.
Can you hear me, Caleb?
I can hear you going in and out.
What was the last thing you heard?
Um, that the spinning bottle.
Hop out and come back in. You can talk about the movie. Okay, can you hear me now?
I'm sorry. Could you say it again?
No. Okay.
Okay, let's see. Just bear with us.
My whole computer's locked up.
Your computer's locked up? Oh, there he goes. All right. So I think that this is actually a fun thing to be happening right now, because the movie that we're talking about is all about technology, and whether or not that it's going to be taking over. Uh, you know, where we're at right now, probably not, because something as simple as a bad router can kind of kill a connection. Um, so there are definitely clues as to whether or not this can be a simulation. Um, some of the clues, like he was bringing up at the beginning of the movie, whenever he is trying to decide on who he wants to take with him, uh, he looks at Ingrid, uh, played by Haley Lou Richardson, which Haley Lou Richardson one of those people where like I feel like I've seen her somewhere before. I've checked out her filmography. I've seen her in nothing, but I feel like I've seen her in something, which is super weird. You back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Perfect. Yeah, I was bringing up what you were bringing up with, like, the different clues as to why it was um, a simulation. Which the first one is definitely the spinning bottle. I was talking about how I've never seen Haley Lou Richardson in anything, but I feel like I have, and I don't know why.
Is that Ingrid?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, she looks very familiar. Yeah, so the movie is almost like when you're playing a video game and you die and you start the level over, is kind of what the whole movie is with him doing these jumps. So I mean, if it is a simulation, that makes sense. That this is just the next life, Um,
Now,
so
I do have to bring something up, though. That's something that we have to question.
mhm,
Um, because there are all of these clues as to it could being a simulation. Um,
mhm.
then there are the questions of like, what are the ramifications of that? Is this a simulation being done by the AI, or is it being done by the people of the future testing out different ways to go about it? Because depending on the answer, this may actually, unfortunately, this may be like one of the like a gaping plot hole that can kind of ruin a movie, depending on the answer to that question. Because if Sam Rockwell is aware that it's a simulation, then the entire ending doesn't make sense.
So let's treat it like it's not a simulation. Let's take
Sure.
the movie as face value. The part of the movie that where if it's not a simulation and it falls apart for me is once they get to the house where they start gearing up for the final battle, and he says, "Oh, there's always something different from this point on. It's going to throw something different at us every time." And then this giant cat minotaur centaur thing appears. What is that? Is that is did it is the other theory has maybe the simulation and reality are bleeding into each other once you get closer and closer to the AI source, and that's why weird things happen once you get close to that house.
Yeah. Maybe. So the centaur minotaur thing, that all comes from whenever, like, they're in the uh they're in there, and they're making jokes about, like, oh, well, what if it's a
Y-
centaur? Oh, what if it's just a bunch of kittens and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
it's the Ghostbuster Stay Puft Marshmallow joke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I get that.
but the problem is Sam Rockwell says, and like it's such a specific line. He says, "Bad prompt, guys. Bad prompt. I told you to take this seriously."
Hmm.
Bad prompt is a choice, you know.
Yeah. Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
so
That
it's
so this is where the movie gets kind of weird. Is like, okay, is it a simulation or is it not? And especially, so we kind of jumped out of our recap.
We
Uh,
did,
but
yeah.
Ingrid is revealed to have a allergy, which there are people that are that get headaches from Wi-Fi. I don't know if there's anything as severe as getting nosebleeds from Wi-Fi, but she is allergic to Wi-Fi. So, and we find out, and it's kind of an obvious spoiler as you're watching the movie. You're like, well, of course she's his mom. You know, it's
Yeah.
very obvious.
It's not a
But
twist,
so in
it's
the
a reveal.
yeah. So they get to the house where the AI is being created, and there's like this little kid on a pile
Yeah.
of computer parts.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, throughout the whole movie, they are talking about and bringing up that it's this 9-year-old kid genius who supposedly brings this AI to life, you know. And
Mhm.
so, I mean, I don't know what you expected. I kind of expected it to just be like just like this whiz kid in his room on a computer.
Mhm.
Um, and so then the fact that it is this weird bald kid clone on top of a
Mhm.
pile of machinery, this AI is building itself.
Yeah, it's very Skynet, where it's kind of like going back in time almost to create itself. And so there's part of me that's like, okay, well, what if there's like two AIs, or what if 'cause the voice on the phone still bugs me. Who it,
I'm trying to remember a voice on the phone.
well,
Um,
Susan's dead son is what I'm saying.
oh, gotcha.
That is guiding them to stop the AI. Is that
Yeah.
the AI leading them into a trap? Is that a resistance force? Is that what is that?
So let's take this once again. It's so funny how we have to keep you know acting like this. Let's take it at face value.
Hmm.
I do believe it is the AI leading them into a trap.
Hmm.
Um, because whenever they mention oh, plug my son into this, he's the only one that can upload this, blah blah blah, whatever, it doesn't work.
Yeah, and I think that the AI. So if it is a trap, I think it's trying to trap Ingrid because it's sick of Sam Rockwell doing stuff, because it
Yes.
there's a chance Sam Rockwell could succeed, and so it's leading them into this trap. And if you get Ingrid before she has Sam Rockwell, then everything stops.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, we try to be intellectual about this and be like, oh, this is very much similar to the Dead Don't Die or Cuties or Everything Everywhere All at Once. This is just Terminator. Like kill the
Yeah.
mom and the hero will never be born. It's just Terminator.
Yeah, and so more evidence that it's a simulation is once they save the day in quotes, and her son shows up without a barcode. I'm like, wait, how did that happen? He should be dead. There should be a barcode if it's a clone. You know, it's like the simulation is giving them what they want to make them think it's a happy ending.
Hmm.
And
Which
I
I mean,
think
and that's the
what it's trying to do is prevent Sam Rockwell from jumping back again. If he thinks it's a happy ending and just dies, then it's done. I don't have to worry about this lunatic going back in time over and over and messing things up. So yeah, the
mhm.
more I talk about it, the more I'm leaning towards this is all simulation. It makes the most sense. Um, let's talk about
Which there was a theory that Cameron posed, it being a simulation. I think you would
mhm,
enjoy, um,
mhm,
because the whole point is um, the whole point that is that the AI gives you whatever you want, right? Like to keep you. It's like the Matrix. You know what? It
mhm,
keeps you satisfied, so that way you don't resist.
mhm,
So Sam Rockwell, in the future, past, whatever, um, accidentally gets his mom killed because he's so curious about the technology. And so Cameron posed the idea that the AI is giving him the chance, like it's not truly giving him the chance, but it's giving him that feeling, that rush of giving him the chance to right things that are wrong, that he did wrong,
So
to bring his mother, or
so
not to bring his mother.
you're saying the whole thing could be that this is him plugged into the matrix and this is his fantasy that he gets to save his mom and it's just looping over and over again.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean it would work. It makes sense. That also ties in with what I was about to say. Our good friend Daniel has kind of broken me when it comes to movies, and I look for religious symbolism everywhere. And I could not help but notice that the wires going around his head are a crown of thorns because
oh
he's the
yeah.
savior of the film, and that the kid is basically the Antichrist. And you know, so I can't not see these things anymore when I see movies. So. And he's even in the picture in our background. He's in a cross pose. He's just
Yeah.
like hanging. So I think that's all very intentional. So,
Did you?
uh,
I know I sent you that thing, that blurb from the AMA. Did you get a chance to read any of the other stuff from the AMA?
no, just the blurb is all I saw. So,
Okay. That's, I mean, I'll be honest, that's really the only thing. Because what it was that I was intentional. I saw he had an AMA, and so then I just went into, like, Control F find, and I was just typed in bad prompt. I'm like, what does he have to say about this?
mhm.
Um, and what he said was, it could or it couldn't. And I'm like, cool, thanks, man, for the AMA.
Yeah, thanks for clearing things up. Um, so this movie could get a sequel. I wouldn't mind a sequel, but I'm okay if I don't get a sequel. It's one of those movies where I'm like, all right, either way, I'm satisfied.
If we get a sequel, then we get the answers to our questions. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, yeah. So at the end, see, the loop starts over, and now he has a new plan that they're gonna spread her allergy to Wi-Fi, spread to all humans, and then everybody will be allergic to phones and everything, and that way the AI cannot take over.
Which I thought that was a lot of fun because the whole time, like, they're bringing up rats.
Hmm.
And like the best way to spread a disease is through rats.
So if you haven't made up your mind yet, go see this movie. It's awesome. We highly recommend it. I don't know if there's anything else we really need to discuss about it. I think we hit the main points.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It's well written. The acting's great. And you know what? I want to talk about this real quick.
Hmm.
So there are the characters who are by actors that I don't recognize who don't get flashbacks. Um,
Hmm.
what do you think the point of them was besides cannon fodder?
So you're talking about the girl that liked pie and the Boy Scout leader, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just
Eh,
comedy. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't really add more to this movie. It's going to get over 2 hours, so you can't give
Yeah.
everybody a flashback.
I do think that what's the one? I think the one guy's name is Scott. Where like he keeps saying, because I think Scott, quote unquote, dies like 2 or 3 times, and every
Hmm.
time he's like, "Yeah, Scott was never gonna make it,"
Yeah, yeah,
but then he keeps coming back.
yeah. He's like, "See, I told you." He gets stabbed at the end. Yeah, yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun, quirky little adventure. Makes you think. It's just we don't get a lot of movies like this. So when they come along, you should definitely
No.
celebrate them, share them with your friends. It's good stuff.
Then unfortunately, because I think we get a couple of these movies every so often. Like
Hmm.
I think we get them more often than one thinks. because like everything everywhere all at once, came out. Was that 23?
Maybe.
Um, so I mean, and that was nominated for things. Last year we got both Sinners and Weapons, and Weapons is being nominated. Sinners has broken the record for nominations. The difference is, I don't know if this will be nominated for anything. There's just
I
something.
don't. I mean, maybe like a sci-fi movie awards or something, but not the big awards. It's not getting enough attention other than from critics who saw it, and also it's the beginning of the year. This will be forgotten by the end of the year.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, it seems like every year we get kind of a really clever movie. Late Night with the Devil was another one that we really
Oh yes.
liked.
Yep.
So,
Which
so
it's funny if you think about it. A lot of the ones that we've mentioned, Everything Everywhere All at Once was an anomaly, but three of those were horror movies. um, and this one, give or take, a horror movie. It's about as much of a horror movie as Terminator was.
So, Caleb, I gotta ask you: are
Yep.
we living in a simulation?
Mm. Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
I used to say no, and I lean more and more to yes every day. So, um, I think that our uh, our spirits are plugged into these shells, and our universe has all these rules, and yeah, I think that
and
there
I think
is a simulation, especially there's another channel, Y Files, that has a whole video on simulation theory. I highly recommend checking that out if
mhm.
you're at all curious about it.
And maybe we're not in a simulation in the normal sense. Maybe we're in a simulation in the sense that um, our creator has placed us in a situation to live out our lives and test us, and at the end we are taken out of the simulation to be with him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You are right. You're going right along with my thoughts. So yeah, um, there's a whole thing about the way our atoms work and wave particles and all that stuff. And I'm gonna get this totally wrong because I'm not a scientist, but there's a wave particle that acts one way, and then if you look at it, it acts a totally different way, and like it knows it's being looked at. It's very strange,
Oh, okay.
and science cannot explain it. And so their theory on the Y files was, it takes when you play a game like Grand Theft Auto or whatever, the game doesn't render everything at once because it's saving on memory. So particles don't all work one way until you're looking at, because then it has to pop up, if that makes sense, to save on the simulation memory.
So
So
if
like
there's a wall behind me is not there until I acknowledge it.
kinda.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's like think more of the universe. The universe, like the stars, until we look at them in a Hubble telescope, it doesn't have to generate those until we look at them.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. I don't know. Watch the Y Files episode. It's really good about that. All right,
What is it called?
the Y Files, WHY files.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. All right. So enough about my nonsense theories. Let's talk about Hollywood real quick. Um, we did have a major shakeup over the weekend that Warner Brothers is going to be acquired by Paramount, who was in turn uh, taken over by Skydance. So Skydance has taken over everything. So what do you think this means for everything? I mean, it's going to take a couple of years, for regulatory stuff to go through and for us to actually start seeing changes. But this is going to
Um,
affect a lot of properties that we like.
yeah.
Um, DC Ninja Turtles was already owned by Paramount. You got Transformers and GI Joe in the mix. Cartoon Network, Adult Swim. Uh, I know you don't watch the show, but Smiling Friends suddenly announced that the series is over out of nowhere.
I did hear about that. Yeah.
There is a small part of me that thought it was a joke that Oni plays type jokes that they always play where they lie about stuff. But as the time goes on, I'm starting to think it is actually real.
Cameron, who is a big fan, when he looked into it, um, they said for now, so he's taking it as an indefinite hiatus.
Right, and that might be that they knew that a new buyer was coming in, and they're waiting to see which way the wind blows and how if there is an Adult Swim in 2 years. Um, the other thought I had is maybe they're being truthful that Smiling Friends is over and they're going to relaunch it as a different show. That was an idea I had, but it it feels like as time goes on, it is over. What do you think about DC Comics? Do you think that they are going to stay being published?
I think so. Like I here's the thing with Netflix. I think that Netflix only cares about movies. You know, I think they only care about the screen. Um, which was going to be really bad for both comics and video games. That was like a big worry because we had actually heard from insiders that Netflix not only didn't care about WB Games and all the subsidiaries, but they didn't care so much that they didn't even care to sell it. So, like, if Netflix had bought WB, the gaming division was just going to lay there dormant for however long because they weren't even going to try to sell it because like they see no value in it. So Mortal Kombat was going to go away. You know, all Batman Arkham, all this, it was just going to go away. I think when it comes to Paramount, I actually don't know if a whole lot is going to change. I mean, from our perspective, as far as content that we're getting, like I think the things that are going to change are going to be more on the business side, because that was the whole problem with WB. But I think Paramount and Skydance want to be a company that can rival Disney in every shape and form. And so
I think movie theaters, if Netflix had won, would have been dead in 3 years.
yes,
And I think that this gives movie theaters about 5 extra years. I still think movie theaters are dead within 10 years. I don't see them surviving unless they figure out a way to change the experience to tap into that almost like it's a concert, like the Minecraft craze, like that type of movie theater experience, something that gets people that want to go to theaters as a group.
yeah,
Otherwise, everything's just going to go streaming all the time. So I don't know how you save theaters. I mean, I have ideas, but I think you have to really focus on older movies and really advertise that you could see them on the big screen. I know they do those, but they do them so infrequently, and usually you don't know they're happening till after they've happened.
yeah.
I think that they
You got to
they would have
subscribe to
to
Fandango for that.
it would have to also get cheaper. It would have to get much cheaper to go to the theater to save theaters. You'd have to give them a reason to go. So it, there's ways, but I don't see that happening. As far as comic books, there are a couple of comic books that they have to publish or they lose rights to characters. So like Wonder Woman has to have a title published every month or in publication every year, or else the rights revert back to the original family. And then the other one is Watchmen has to stay in print, or Alan Moore gets the rights back. So, at least the bare minimum will be kept so they don't lose characters. But the question is, Could we see them, you know, ship off some of the publishing off to like Skybound, you know, Kirkman's Group or McFarlane or something? You know, that could happen, but I don't know at this moment. It's too early to tell.
Yeah. I mean that's kind of the thing is I this is so fresh. Like
Hmm.
we haven't even had a week to think on this to the point where like I definitely I don't have a whole lot of thoughts. I do have thoughts on like so I there are things about not going to Netflix that kind of bum me out. I don't think that going to Netflix would have been like I don't think it would have been doomsday. You know, I think there was at least one good thing that would have come out of going to Netflix, and that's that you know Netflix doesn't meddle. Um,
Hmm.
and you know, they'll be like, oh, but why do they have so many bad things? The reason they have so many bad things is because they don't meddle. I know. I'm gonna break the illusion. The majority of artists suck. At making art. The majority of artists suck at making art. Like that's just the truth.
Hmm.
Um, and so you know, that's why 95% of you know Netflix stuff kind of sucks is because you know they want content. They don't really care about getting involved in it. I definitely think that Skydance and Paramount will definitely want to get involved. To what degree and to what angle, that I have no idea. But there's definitely more likely of uh, uh, you know studio meddling with them than with Netflix.
Yeah, and as far as leadership, I think Zaslav's either gone or he'll just be in charge of Discovery stuff again, like he was originally. But most likely he's gone. He's going to be leaving. And then James Gunn, I assume, will stay in charge for now, but I think he might be a little bit more reined in than he was.
Yeah,
Would be
I,
my
I was
guess.
I was definitely thinking about that. You know, Gun is where my mind definitely went, and I think you know he's safe for now. Yeah.
It
Um,
it would be really bad for DC to switch directions again so soon after switching directions again. They needed to stay on a path for a little bit, good or bad. Stay on a path and quit jumping all over the place.
yeah, and I know some people are like, you know, this could be a way to get the Snyderverse back, and I say, stop it, please. Just go to your
Yeah,
hole.
I think Netflix was a much more likely path to get Snyder back. So I think that's definitely not happening now. I would assume. Um, Other big question is Cartoon Network and Adult Swim dead? I feel like Cartoon Network's been heading that way for a while, anyways. And they just dumped most of their library on Tubi, and it seems
Hmm.
like Tubi is kind of going to be the place for cartoons. So I think that Cartoon Network makes this as a channel for a while, but I don't think they're creating new shows and stuff. I think you'll see that kind of die off. Although then again, Skydance does have their own animation. Maybe they could take over, but I don't see that the path going forward. Especially since they own Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network. You don't need two of them.
Yeah, which here comes here comes the next question. Um, you know, I mean, you just mentioned, you know, like to me, it's weird that we're gonna maybe see SpongeBob and Bugs Bunny air on the same channel. That's kind of weird. Um,
Yeah.
but
Although Looney Tunes did air on Nickelodeon at one point, way back in the day,
sure, sure.
back in the dark ages. Yes.
um, but how do you think that this affects um, Paramount Plus? Because I think that's the big question. Does,
It's gonna have to merge with HBO Max. I think there's gonna be 3 main streaming services after this. It'll be HBO, Paramount, whatever they're gonna be called, Disney, and Netflix. So you'll just get down to like 3 groups. I don't know what's gonna happen to Peacock. It'll get absorbed by somebody eventually. But yeah, I think you're just gonna have you'll have 3 different groups.
which having 3 different groups, we closer and closer we get to the dystopia where the world is run by 5 corporations, and we decide the fate of the world through a fighting tournament with representatives from each of the companies.
That was the original 2099 comic books. There was no longer United States. There was different. I think there was like 5 different companies running the United States, and it was all split up by the different companies. So, yeah, we're kind of heading some dystopian future. The by and large Wall-E future is right around the corner.
Which speaking of, and yeah, at this point we're just rambling. Have you seen this video that's like the true villain of Pixar movies?
I haven't seen the latest one. I mean, I've seen the thumbnail for it, but I haven't watched that one.
So it's hilarious because you get about 45 minutes in and you realize, oh, this is just the ramblings of a crazy person. None of this is making any sense.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's
There's
hilarious.
those theory videos get really crazy.
You really appreciate people like John Fanaff and Matt Pat and Alex Bale. I'm like, man, you guys are really good at this because you are so close to just being nutcases.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so do you think that so Nickelodeon, I guess, sticks around, but you're thinking that like Cartoon Network is gone in 5 years?
It's either gone. Well, I was gonna say it turns into like a rerun channel that just shows Looney Tunes, but that's what Tubi is now. I don't think you need it.
Well, I mean, like
Yeah,
it's what was it, Boomerang?
yeah. And Pluto's ran by Paramount also. Like they have like those Nickelodeon channels on Pluto. So I mean, that could be where it all ends up. Maybe they add some Cartoon Network type channels, an Adult Swim channel on Pluto.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I'll be honest. I've watched things on Tubi and on Pluto before, because like so the way my TV works, my TV is a Roku TV, and so like if I want to watch something, I'll type it in the search bar and it'll tell me what app has it,
yep.
and whether or not. So like that's how I watch it. I actually don't understand what Pluto or Tubi actually are. You know, I don't
So
I don't get them.
Tubi is basically when Disney bought Fox, Rupert Murdoch took all that money and pumped it into Tubi, and so Tubi is just free movies and TV shows, and you just it's kind of view on demand. You just pick what you want and watch. Pluto is actual. It's like you remember the old cable where it had like the channel guide.
Yeah.
You would turn that channel, it had the guide going through. That's what Pluto is. It's a channel guide. And so you just go through and click the channel you want to watch. So like there's a channel that shows Addams Family 24 hours a day, or a channel that shows Cheers 24 hours a day, or Star Trek, or SpongeBob, or whatever. So it's just, and then they have movies on there as well. So most of that is Paramount properties. So I think Paramount kind of controls Pluto, or they have a deal with Pluto to show their shows on there. So it's basically free cable is what it is, and I think that's what eventually everything will go to. You'll have the main streaming services, and then you'll have stuff like Pluto that has their own little channel or channels. And regular cable, once they figure out sports, like what is going to happen to it. Is it all going to go to Amazon or ESPN or Netflix or whatever? Then cable will die, because cable, the only thing keeping it alive is sports.
Yeah.
So once that moves on to whatever's the next, then it'll all change. So, all right. Well, that's our predictions about, two guys that know nothing about the entertainment industry. That's our predictions for what will happen.
We're all in a simulation. None of it matters.
Exactly. So we've got 3 episodes of Culture Shark left, and we will be back in 2 weeks. We're going to be taking a look at the different comic book stories that we have read throughout the years on the channel, and we're going to rank them, which ones are the best and which ones are worst. So that'll be in 2 weeks. So until next time, I've been Final Monkey.
And I'm Caleb.
And we'll catch you next time in the deep end.
See ya.